Hey everybody, welcome to class. For this class, you don't need any props, and it's going to be pretty short. And this focus for this class, or my intention for this class, is to help alleviate some low back pain. So we'll do a lot of focusing on the posterior chain, the back of the body. So let's get started in tabletop position. Your hands planted under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And then just take a breath in and find cow pose. So lift your tailbone up and your gaze forward. As you exhale into cat, really round your spine and push down through your palms, and then stay like that. And we're going to do hovering child's pose. So you're going to reach your hips back towards your heels without letting your hips touch your heels. Hopefully you feel some expansion through the back of your pelvis. And then rock forward back into a little cow pose. Breathe in. Exhale for hovering child's pose. And we'll do that one more time. Breathe in as you come forward into cow. And as you exhale, find cat pose first. Flex your spine, then move your hips back towards your heels. And then stay in this position, but walk your hands over to the right. So you're in a lateral hovering child's pose. So think about breathing into the left side of your ribs and the back side of your left pocket. And then come forward, keep your hands where they are. Find a little twisted cow pose. Breathe in. And as you exhale, round your spine. And then move your hips back towards your heels. Lateral hovering child's pose. Let's go one more time on this side. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Stay here, but walk your hands through center and then all the way over to the left. So that you're still hovering your hips over your heels. You're walking your hands over to the left and you're getting big expansion through the right side body. Come forward. Inhale into a little cow pose. And then exhale, round your spine and press your hips back towards your heels for that lateral side bend hovering child's pose. Let's go one more time like this on this side. Breathe in. And exhale. And then walk your hands back through center. And if you want, you could even just let your hips come all the way back towards your heels and let yourself sink down into a child's pose for a moment. Maybe even rock your hips a little side to side. Then walk your hands in and come up. Let's come into a position, a seated position. We're going to come into a 90-90. So let's start with the left shin in front of us. So almost like you're coming into a butterfly pose. Lean over to your left and then swing your right heel back behind you. And you can kind of tuck the left heel in close towards your pubic bone and the right heel in towards your hip. We're going to come up onto our left shin. So you're going to let your hips go from flexion into extension in this 90-90 position. I like my hands kind of out in front of me. So you're going to come up, let your hips come forward, try to keep your tailbone scooped. And then this is really slow. So maybe hands in front of you. Start to hover your hips back towards your heels. So get a lot of length in that left outer glute. And then touch down briefly, come upright. And we're going to do it 2 more times on this side. Come up, hips forward, slow hip hinge, hips back as slow as you can go. And then let your hips come down, come upright. Last one, rise up, hips forward. And slowly hips down and back. And then let your hands just come down to the ground. And we're going to fold, we're going to stretch a little bit more on that left outer glute. So you can bring your left shin a little further forward if that feels okay. And start to hinge forward. And you might find that going directly over your shin feels good. You might find that you need to move your chest towards the right. Maybe you need to move it towards the left. But find what works for you. I'm going to stay right at center. Oof. And then just take 3 deep breaths here. Breathe in. And out. Hopefully you're feeling this. the target muscle is really in that left, like side pocket, back glute, where we get really tight, and maybe even in your hamstring a little bit. I definitely feel this in the back of my leg. Okay, come on up. Let's switch sides. Swing the right leg in front of you. Swing the left leg back behind you. And then kind of draw your right heel in close towards the pubic bone and the left heel in. Arms out in front. And you're going to come up onto your right shin. Let your hips come forward. And then a nice slow descent. So think hips are moving back. You're getting a lot of expansion. And then let your hips come down, come up, right back up onto the right shin. And then a slow descent. So you're lengthening that right outer glute. Really try to push your hip back. And then come down, sit upright. Last time, all the way up onto the shins. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. And then try to get as much stretch and length in that right outer pocket as you come all the way down. Good job. And then bring your right shin forward a little bit. So a little bit more of a 90-degree angle with your right leg. And then start to fold forward. Oh man, my right side's definitely way more tight. And I like to have a little bit of engagement in my right ankle. So think like you're flexing through the ankle or drawing your toes slightly back towards your knee, and then lean forward into that right shin. And you could even actively push your right shin into the ground to keep it active and mobility focused. We'll take a breath in here. Slow breath out. Last one. All right, good job. And then come on up. Let your legs swing out in front of you. Let's come into a straddle. So feet are just about wider than your mat, or however much you want. And then tuck your left heel in towards your pubic bone. Open the arms wide, and then you're going to twist your chest towards your right foot. And then reach forward with your left hand and reach back with your right hand. Hold here for a moment, and then when you're ready, release your left palm down and your right palm down. Your left hand might be able to grab the right foot. If not, that's okay. You could also grab the outside of your right shin, and you can let your head drop. So really, again, kind of the same theme like in that lateral hovering child's pose. We're getting a lot of expansion through the back of the body. Often when we have low back pain, it just means that we're pretty tight throughout really the entire posterior chain. Let's take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then let yourself rise on up. We'll switch sides. Extend your left leg out long. Bend your right knee. Nice tall spine. And then open your arms wide. And then exhale and turn your chest towards the left. And then reach your right hand towards your left foot, your left arm back. And then imagine someone has your right hand and they're pulling you forward. And then when you can't go any further, allow your right hand to come down and your left hand back behind you. And you can even let your head drop down and fold. And then breathe. Send your breath, send your inhale to the backside of your lungs, especially through the right side where you're getting a whole lot of expansion. I love this stretch. This is one of my favorites. Okay, come on up. And then let's make our way onto our backs. So lie down. Plant your feet. Feet are hip width distance. Place your hands on the front of your hips. We're going to do some little pelvic rocks. So on your in-breath, you're going to lift your belly kind of up towards the sky, arch your back, and think about your tailbone reaching down into the ground. And then on your exhale, scoop the tailbone underneath you, flatten your low back on the ground, and feel your core kind of engage and compress here. And just kind of keep these two movements, inhaling for a pelvic rock as you arch the back, anteriorly tilting your pelvis. Exhale, scoop the tailbone, posterior tilt of the tailbone. Do this a few more times. Inhaling, arching. Exhaling, seal your low back flat to the mat. Last one here, inhale to arch, and then exhale to scoop, and then stay here with your tailbone scooped and push down into your feet and lift your hips like 2 inches off the ground. Bring your arms down by your sides. Push down into the insides of your feet, your big toe ball mount, inner arch, inner heel. And then without moving your feet, drag your heels back, like you could drag your feet back towards your hands without actually moving your feet. And then engage your inner thighs towards each other. And take an in-breath and keep your tailbone tucked as you lower your hips maybe like 1/2 inch. And then exhale, push down to lift, and do that 3 more times. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. So doing some little glute bridges, activating the hamstrings without clenching your butt. Don't squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. So give the back of your pelvis a release, and then lower your hips all the way down to the ground. And then cross your right knee over your left. We're going to come into a reclined shoelace. So right knee is crossed over the left. Start to lift your feet off the ground and bring your knees in towards your chest. And you might just have both hands on the top of that right leg. I have my left hand on the right shin. You could take your right hand on the left shin and let your feet kind of fan a little wider, like a mermaid tail. Oh, take some deep breaths. You could be still. If you can find movement, feel free. I'm pretty stuck right here. Let's go ahead and release. Switch sides, plant your feet, cross your left knee over the right, hug your knees into your chest. Maybe you just grab a hold of the top shin, or if it feels okay to take your left hand to the right shin and fan your feet a little wider. Try to relax your neck, your face, breathe in, full breath out. And then release, and just hug your knees into your chest without them being crossed. Maybe rock a little side to side. And then let's extend the feet up towards the ceiling. Imagine that your feet are on the ground, so you're drawing your toes back towards you. And then point your toes. And then draw them back. So this is actually called plantar flexion and extension. Plantar flexion is when your feet are planted, when your toes are drawn back, and flexion is when your toes are pointed. So do this a few times. And the next time that your toes are pointed, start to turn your toes out away from each other, and then draw them back, spread your toes, and then turn them in towards each other, and then point. So really slowly move your feet in some big circles, your toes. So all the movement's only happening from your ankles, reverse directions. Imagine that your toes are trying to scrape out the peanut butter at the bottom of a peanut butter jar. It's really hard. It's like my least favorite thing to do in the world. Almost like get a burn in your shins doing this so slow. Oftentimes, a lot of our low back pain stems from our feet. We gotta take care of our feetsies. All right, stop that. Shake your legs out, give them a little shaky shake. And then plant your feet down onto the mat. Walk your feet mat width apart. And then bring your knees together so they're resting on each other, constructive rest pose. And then lift your hips off the ground just an inch, tuck your tailbone, and then lower your hips back down. Arms down by your sides. Take an in-breath through your nose. And exhale to let it go. As you exhale, try to soften your whole pelvic area. Like really allow this area to get heavy. Do that again. Breathe in. And exhale. Can you soften your low back? Release any tension there as best you can. I know it's hard. I invite you to stay in this position for at least a full minute and just wait until any tension in the low back like completely recedes. Let it just kind of dissipate. Stay there and breathe. I hope you feel a little bit of relief in your low back and that you, if not, just enjoyed that stretch. See you soon. Thank you so much for being here.